Today is Saturday, June 25th, 2016, and this is the Bunny Slippers Cerebral Job Seekers Call-In Show, presented by Evil Bunny Consulting. I'm your host, Tyrone Griffin, and if it's 3 p.m. you have on your bunny slippers, you are not looking for a job. Welcome, first-time and returning listeners. In this show, we discuss the strategies and tactics of job search, staying motivated and dealing with career transition. For more tips, resources, daily motivations, and to listen to archive shows, go to the website bunnyslipperscerebral.com. There you'll also find links to our Facebook page, our Twitter handle, and our YouTube channel. If you are listening live, you can call in with your questions at 347-202-0929. Again, that number is 347-202-0929. Now, a word from our sponsors. Evil Bunny Consulting is the job search alternative to expensive outplacement. They give company-sponsored job search workshops as well as a one-on-one job search boot camp. For more information, go to bunnyslipperscerebral.com. ResumeEd is the high-quality resume writing company with certified resume writers starting at just $35. You can find them online at resume4edit.com or call 404-860-2473. Be sure to tell them you heard about them on the Bunny Slippers Cerebral Job Seekers podcast. Let 3dresumes.net turn your resume into a web page with a customized domain for 12 months for only $30. Help hiring managers and recruiters find you, make your resume available 24/7, and get a professional email address just for your job search. You can see my online resume at tyronegriffin.com. For more information on how to get your own, go to 3dresumes.net. If you're thinking or about to look for a job in today's world, you will find a new reality in the job search process. The world has changed. Job search today is much more complicated than 5 years ago. Volumes of resumes, more applicant screening systems, depersonalized applications, panel interviews, team hiring, long complicated applications, branding, and social media. Yes, the world has changed. But have you? Are you still trying yesterday's approach? Why struggle and miss out on today's opportunities? Career Oyster is here to help. Great coaches, the latest resources, unique strategies personally tailored to your job search. Find out the new reality and how you can prevent costly mistakes. To register for a free 45-minute private lesson with head coach Howard Caddy, go to careeroyster.com. Find out the facts now. You'll be glad you did. Remember their motto, the world is your oyster, be the pearl. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another show. I hope you've had a good and productive week. Things here have been great. Last week's show was great. I hope you guys got a chance to go check out the video. Shajana was putting up. That was good for me just to talk to somebody. Usually, just talking to anybody. It's kind of great. But yeah, I have to be honest. I've been playing the songs that she put in her videos. I've been playing them in my head for the last couple of days. Right now, one of them's going through my head, which is kind of hard trying to focus on the show. But after doing that show and thinking about things, the thing that she did, and I'm leading into that show, is what gave me the idea for this show, which is thinking outside the box. You look at what she did, and let me break it down for a second for those of you who haven't watched the video, but go to the last week's show, look in the show notes, and there's links to both of her videos. They're great, but it was the music she was playing, the music I grew up with. Okay, I'm kind of old. But what she did was she took them in a new direction as far as she did a video. She did two videos, actually, of, I think she did was 20 some people, 20, 30 people dancing. Just dancing. Nobody singing, nobody lip syncing, everybody just dancing. And to conceive of that, I mean, it sounds simple, afterwards, but to conceive of, the way the video went in, the first one started in her house, went outside the street, came back in the house. The second video it was around a pool, it was through the picnic area, and just all the things that she did. That's the thinking outside the box. That's that creativity that a lot of jobs look for. A lot of people hiring managers, that's what they're looking for, that creativity. People who can think outside the box. And, that's one of those terms, we throw it around, think outside the box. Well, nobody knows what the box is, but that's a whole nother show. But, so what I did, I tried to put together, how do you go through the process of thinking outside the box? And how do you, what do you do? Because it's not like you can just sit down and say, I am going to think outside the box. And you sit down, and there's a box, and you think outside. And you're like, yes. No, that's not how it works. You have to it's several steps involved again in thinking outside the box. So I decided, well, let me just talk about those steps, because I've heard them. We've all heard them tons of times. So let's talk about, I did some research online. I'm not gonna lie, I don't, brain is great, but it don't come up with everything. That's why we have the Googles. The first step to thinking outside the box is put up barriers. Now, let's think about that. And I'm going to relate everything back to job search. So you put up barriers. Think about you're sitting at home. Okay, say you have unlimited wealth. Well, no, can't say that, because if you had unlimited wealth, you wouldn't be looking for a job. But say you have a real nice, cushy setup at home. You got your nice office. It's plush. You got a refrigerator right there. You got a big 45-inch TV on the wall. Maybe you got a little microwave in the corner. Your view is of a golf course or of the ocean or whatever. You really got it going on. You got a multiplex laser printer right there. You got gigabit Wi-Fi. Everything is just cranking. Your seat is a $450 whatever, and it's so comfortable. It's guaranteed that you can't sit in this seat more than 10 minutes without falling asleep. But that is your environment, and it's a great environment, But if you're trying to think outside the box, put up some barriers. Force your mind to take a leap. What's that movie? Eve, I think it is, where the woman got some bad drugs, and all of a sudden she started being able to use more and more of her brain power, and it just, she was all of a sudden, she was able to warp reality. If you put up some kind of barrier so that everything isn't just flowing in milk and honey, take yourself out, take your laptop and, like I used to do. And don't get me wrong, I didn't do it because I had a great plush environment to work in. But I used to go out to my office out of Panera Bread. Go out somewhere. Go someplace where there's Wi-Fi, where you gotta maybe work a little harder. Because one thing, that will make you focus on the task at hand. That will make you don't have the TV as a distraction. You say, well, no, I'm not going to watch TV. I'll just have it playing in the background. We all know what that means. You're watching CNN, you're watching world events, but it's taking away from what you're trying to do. So take all those barriers and put some barriers around and make yourself fit into a smaller space physically and mentally. Okay, where you don't have the luxury of sitting and watching TV. You're at McDonald's or Panera Bread or Starbucks, and you got to focus on this laptop, and that's your whole world. And you're doing your job search there, you're doing your networking, whatever there. It forces you to, and what's going to come up later is what's important, but it forces you to focus on the job search, because it's like, okay, example is, we can all walk down the street, most of us, walk down the street without falling. Look at people in gymnastics. They have to walk on a beam, 6 inches wide or whatever. Look at people who tightrope walk, and they got to walk on a rope. I don't know how big it is. But they are much more focused on the task at hand, on walking, because they don't have unlimited space, to walk around stuff and not pay attention. How many times have we been walking around with our phones? We're just walking. We're not paying attention. We're stepping in poop and just keep it moving. But we got our phones in our hands, and we're just, walking willy-nilly. And who is willy-nilly? But we're walking everywhere and not paying attention. And, maybe we're losing our balance because we're, focusing on our phone. But then you see somebody in gymnastics, or you see a tightrope walker, and they are focusing on every step. And they're doing that because they have no choice to. Because if they don't, they'll fall off. So they put this barrier, instead of the sidewalk being 4 feet wide or whatever a standard U.S. sidewalk is, they got a beam 6 inches or 4 inches, or they have a rope, and that's their whole world. So they put these barriers around what they're doing. Now they have to focus on that, and they have to ignore everything else, but they have to focus on the task at hand. And that's what you want to do, is focus on the task at hand. So put some kind of barrier. Get out of your comfort zone. Okay, get up and go out, and even if you just go sit on your porch and do your job search, but go somewhere, make it hard. A coach used to tell us when I played football in high school, he said his goal was to make practice harder than the game. So the game was easy. But if practice is that hard, when you got to the game was a party. Okay, unfortunately for us, in most games we were losing, so it wasn't a real good party. But the point is, you want to focus. You want to put up barriers to things that distract, so that you have to focus. Okay. So the first step is, put up some barriers. The second step is what I call a step outside yourself. The reason I say that is you want to be objective. When you're, okay, if I could pick the next president of the United States, it'd be me. I think I'm the best person for the job in my mind. I'm the best person for every job in my mind. But I'm not running. And I'm also not being objective. I'm being subjective, I guess you'd call it. But you want to if you want to think outside the box, you have to kind of take emotion out of it. Because emotion will keep you in the box. Say if you're trying to pick you're a judge in a contest, in a beauty contest, beauty pageant, and you're trying to, or a talent competition, you're a judge, but you like people who look a certain way. There's nothing to do with their talent. You just like the way some people look, and you've always been that way. You had a preference for blondes or tall women or women with dreads or whatever. You have a preference for that. If a child in the contest, in the talent competition, has dreads, you would be more apt to give that person more credence to their talent, not because of their talent, but because they got dreads. That's when you're being subjective. So what you want to do is try to be objective. Try to step outside your body. I remember it used to be years ago, there was all these talk about people having, what they call out-of-body experiences, where they would be floating above the room looking down on their body. Try to, don't die to do it, but try to take yourself take the subjectivity out of any decision, out of any action, and be able to admit. We'll get to mistakes later too, but be able to admit, when you're screwed up, when you're doing something that's not good. Not just make mistake. It's easy afterwards to see what a mistake was, but during the time you're making the mistake, during the time you are barking up a tree, or you're trying to connect with somebody who, okay, let me be honest. Let me put it out here. And we'll all probably do it. You meet somebody at a networking event, and you're married or whatever. You meet somebody at a networking event, and they are stunning. They are beautiful. The guy, he is a hunk. He looks, he looks like me. No, just playing. But he's a hunk, or she's just absolutely stunning. And she's in somewhat of a position to maybe kind of sort of help you if you close one eye and stand on your toes and put your finger on your nose. Yes, that person can help you. And you reach out to network with them, just because you like being around. It's got nothing to do with your job search necessarily. It's tangential. It's very, if somebody said, how can this person help you in your search? It's very tenuous. It's very, they're breathing. That's how they can help me in my job search. And that the only reason you're reaching out to this person, we all have done it. Well, I've done it. Not that many times, but I've done it. Anyway, you're reaching out to this person for reasons other than jobs. Yeah, I'm not saying you're planning to cheat on your spouse or anything, or your significant other, but you just like, I could just sit and watch her talk all day. You know, kind of like me with Holly Berry, but that's a whole nother book. But anyway, if you want to think outside the box, you got to be objective. You got to step back and go, you know what, this activity or this plan sucks, or this is not getting us to our goal. Let me step away from this and do what I need to do. But you got to be objective. So that's one thing. You got to be objective about what you're doing. One of the things that when companies have hired consultants, one of the things I've noticed, you've ever been in workshops where there was an outside consultant leading the workshop, a brainstorming workshop, they are objective. That's one of the reasons, other than their expertise maybe in a particular structure or process, they are objective. They don't care who wins. Okay, they just want to take you through the process, but they don't care who wins, as long as you go through the process. That's that objectivity that you want to try to gather for yourself. Okay. Here's the good one. The next one was, I said, focus on what the real problem is. And I'm going to take this off of job search for a minute. But I'll say this: success hides problems. That's the first thing. Anybody who saw the NBA Finals last week, Golden State Warriors been shooting threes for the last 2 years and killing folks. And then all of a sudden they ran up against Oklahoma City about 3 weeks ago. And they exposed them because they were able to shut down those threes. And all of a sudden you realize that Golden State don't pass too well. The other little quirks that have always been there, but nobody paid attention to them because they were shooting so well. And what happens is those mistakes, those quirks, those development opportunities come up when things are going bad. Okay. Everybody's known somebody who they worked with who, was an excellent worker, who did great things. But they like to fart at their desk, but everybody overlooked it because, Charles is the man. He knows everything. When he became a manager and, he had his own office and he's sitting there and, output was awesome. His teams were great and everything. Dude liked to fart in his office all day and with the door shut. And, then he called meetings in his office and everybody was sitting there like, oh gosh, Lord, please help us. Please hurry up this meeting. Keep talking. Nobody, it wasn't an issue until Charles stopped performing. Then all of a sudden, oh man, and the dude farts in his office. Really? All the time. Success hides development opportunities. It hides it. That's one thing. The other way I looked at it is, well, make sure I've worked that angle, or finished that topic. When your job search, because you're getting interviews, you may be getting a lot of interviews. You haven't gotten a job, but you're getting a lot of interviews. And you think, I'm doing great because I'm getting interviews. But then you go to the meetings with your breath being bad. And you don't notice that because I'm getting interviews. And then when you're not getting any interviews anymore, then you go, well, let me evaluate myself. I'm like, ooh, my breath is humming. And then you don't realize that till, you weren't getting the interviews no more. The other way I looked at it was payday loans. I read an article a couple weeks ago about payday loans and how, are they good or are they bad for communities? And, people are taking out loans for 2 or 3 days and the interest rates are like ridiculous, stupid, 300% and 400%, but because you're only paying them off quick, it doesn't, not a problem. But then you get into a cycle. The real problem isn't payday loans. Let me put on my finance hat. I got a master's degree in finance. Let me tell you about when we talk about, credit card debt and things like that, and, people getting themselves into trouble and taking out title loans and this and that. And the problem is not the loan industry. The problem is, these title loans, they charge a lot of money. The payday loans charge a lot of money. The real problem is people aren't taught about finance. All of us, or a lot of us, went through high school. How much did you really learn about finance? How much did you learn how to balance a checkbook? Did you learn how to calculate a credit card payment, or how it's calculated? Did you learn any of that? We're not taught these things. So as a result of not knowing, people will do things that are not in their best interest. Plain and simple. They will, because they just don't know. People will go out and have a $400 or $500 car note while living in their parents' basement. Okay, because you just don't know. It's not that you're stupid. It's just you've never been taught. So the real problem. Imagine how much of a change we could come to in this country if people were taught, about credit card debt. People were taught about savings. People were taught about investing in high school. Imagine, or even in college, imagine if people were taught these things. How many industries would be put out of business? The payday loan industry, for one. How many people would not have bad credit? You think about how many industries in this country and globally are based on lack of knowledge, because people don't know something. Well, I know it. Let me go and monopolize on the fact that I know something that they don't know, that the knowledge is out there free, but people won't take the time to learn it. So, sorry, that's a rat hole. That was a big one. So, if you're playing the drinking game, have at it. But, my point is the real problem is not the payday loans and things like that. The real problem is lack of knowledge, okay? In job search, again, like I said from the first point, if you're getting interviews, if you're networking a lot, but you're just not getting that job, the fact that you're networking a lot is a good thing. The fact that you're getting a lot of interviews is a good thing. But there's an underlying problem that because you're getting interviews, or because you've been in transition several times, and every time you've been in transition, you've been able to land a job pretty quickly. So you've been in transition and you're out. Okay, you got a job, and you're able to keep bouncing around, but you keep getting jobs. And then when you can't bounce around, when you don't get a job someplace, your next job, and then you realize, oh, I'm doing this wrong, I'm doing that wrong, I'm doing that wrong. But you've been doing those things all along. It's just that you were getting jobs. That success you were feeling was making you think that everything was perfect. Okay, so that's my point there. Again, sorry about that rat hole. The next thing, your mood is important. You got to be positive. You got to be positive, particularly in job search. It sucks. Okay, I've said that probably 50 times on this show. It sucks. But if you have a funky attitude, if you have a negative attitude about your job search, it's not going to help. How many times have you seen somebody, get mad and do something stupid? Something happens. They get mad, they do something stupid. But guess what? They still got the original problem. They've just multiplied it worse. I was watching this morning, 30 for 30 was about Len Bias's death. And I didn't know that his younger brother was shot a couple of years later by some guy who was jealous that Jay Bias was talking to his wife in a jewelry store where she worked. And when he came out of the mall, the guy shot him. And, it's like, when you gonna shoot somebody in broad daylight, I'm not saying, start shooting people at night, but I'm saying if you decide you're gonna walk up and shoot somebody in broad daylight when they're coming out of the mall, what's your thought process as far as what's gonna happen next? You're gonna shoot this person in broad daylight in front of a couple of hundred people maybe, and then you're just gonna ride away. And, hey, come on, I watch Law and Order, okay? It ain't gonna happen. They're gonna find you. But you gotta have a positive attitude, because job search is depressing, it sucks, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I don't know where that Len Bias story came from, but if you're doing the drinking game, knock yourself out. But anyway, your attitude is your best tool. It's better than your resume. You can have a stellar resume and a funky attitude, you're not getting anywhere. Okay, you can have a sucky resume and a great attitude, and it'll get you someplace. So attitude is everything. And the last one was make mistakes. Make them early. Make them often. There's nothing wrong with mistakes. Great people make the mistakes early on when nobody's watching. There was another 30 for 30. I was in the gym this morning, and I was watching 30 for 30 while I was pumping up. And they were talking about, there was a story on Michael Jordan. And, he went to baseball and this and that. But I thought about it, when he was playing basketball the first time. And it was a commercial he did when he left. And he said, maybe I made you think it was easy. Maybe I thought maybe you, I don't remember all the words of the commercial, but it was basically, people saw him on the court and they said, oh, that's easy. They don't realize the hours and days he put in the gym before that game. Okay. When they see somebody who's a 95% free throw shooter and they don't realize, well, because he made all his misses in practice, but he practiced 1,000 free throws a day or whatever, made his mistakes. You can't get to success without making some mistakes. It's better to go ahead and make them early and get used to them. Because the worst thing is get, all the way through the project and make a mistake at the end, because you haven't had to deal with the bouncing back. Okay. So make your mistakes, make them, embrace them, love them, own them, live them. Okay, don't live them, but own them. They're your mistakes. And make them early. The earlier you can make them, the better chance you have of then turning it around and keep moving. So yeah, you may come out of first weekend job search and you might go to a little strip mall and just drop your resume into every door in there. The gym, the nail shop, the sauna, the tanning place, whatever, the grocery store. You just drop your resume everywhere and think that that's going to get you a job. And then you realize later, that probably wasn't a good thing because those resumes are probably all in the garbage right now. Okay, you made a mistake. Own it, but you made it early. Don't make that kind of mistake at the end of your job search. You should know better. So that's it. That's the topic of thinking outside the box. The 5 points were, put barriers up. Talked about the gymnast on the beam. The next one was step outside yourself. The out of body experience. Be objective. Third one was focus on the real problem. Don't focus on the real symptom. Focus on the real problem. Okay. The fourth one was your mood is important. Okay, be positive, people. Be positive. And the last one was make mistakes, make them early, and keep making them as long as you have to make them to get to where you are. There's nothing wrong with mistakes. Life is all about not what happens to you, but how you respond. The mistakes are what happens to you. How you respond to them is what's really important. So make your mistakes and don't worry about it. Whew. Got through that show. You guys don't know how stressful this is sometimes. Thanks for listening. If you are listening on the website, feel free to subscribe in iTunes. And if you like the show or you don't like the show, please leave feedback so others can find the show, and I truly appreciate it. If you have a suggestion for a topic you would like me to cover in either the podcast or 1 Minute Bunny Tip, please send it to me at Tyrone@bunnyslippersofevil.com. When you do land, please don't forget us. Please support this show by visiting our Cafe Press store and buying a t-shirt, a water bottle, a coffee mug, a clock, or a sweatshirt, so you'll have a memento of your time in transition. Because I don't want you to forget this time. The moment you do, you put your bunny slippers on and you set yourself up to be right back out here again. As always, people, I thank you. I thank you for hanging in there with me for all these years. This show, to me, you want to talk about thinking outside the box. 6 years ago, nobody would have told me I'd do a podcast every week on job search. But here I am. I was playing around with it today, and I might try it next week. Is the new Facebook Live. I might try to play around and see what I can do with that. Just because. But again, I just thank you all. I thank you for your patience. I thank you for your guidance, your wisdom, your thoughts. I thank you for allowing me to share some knowledge I have of job search. And, because we've all been, well, not all of us, but many of us have been there. And I didn't want my time in job search to be in vain. So with that, everybody, thank you. We're going to do a show next week. It's Peachtree Road Race weekend. So anyway, take care, people. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.